All right. So a very warm good morning and good afternoon, depending upon the time zone you're in. I would really like to take this opportunity to say thank you to our wonderful panelists in the panel. Let me make a formal introduction of our panelist at the Enalito E-commerce Growth Tech Summit. First, we have Chandra Cooks. Chandra is the marketing director at Mented Cosmetics, and Chandra is passionately curious, fueled by growth and creativity. Uh, she believes in collaboration, and she is an entrepreneur and a champion and an advisor, and she is doing a lot of things. And okay, we have Cassandra also. Hey, Cassandra, welcome to the panel. Okay. Hi, can you hear us? Okay, let me.
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in. Uh, so Chandra has been doing entrepreneurship, and she is innovative, and she believes in multi-channel marketing strategies, and she has been doing a lot of unique things for her brand Mented Cosmetics, which we'll get to learn from her during the panel. Chandra, welcome to the panel discussion.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. The next we have on the panel is Ronak Shah. Ronak is the CEO and co-founder at OBVI. And Ronak is a strategic thinker and a leader who creatively uses technology and resources to support innovation and revenue generating business goals. He has a long track record of completing enterprise scale projects, including technology conversions, and he has been a financial advisor. He has done a lot of things in the field of technology. He has been instrumental in social media, agile methodology conversion, release management, change management, and process improvement. We'll get to learn a lot about what Ronak is doing for his brand. Ronak, welcome to the panel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. The next we have on the panel is Cassandra Fosum. Cassandra is the CEO and founder at Mavate. At Mavate, Cassandra believes style should feel good, and that's why they have given a much needed makeover to women's high heel and flats, integrating their patent pending 360-degree comfort technology into every pair of their Mavate shoes. They combine this with a better fit by offering a wide range of sizes and widths to help the consumer find the best shoe for them. And it's handmade in Italy from high quality leather and suits. And we love to learn more about what Cassandra is doing at her brand. Cassandra, welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
Wonderful. I must say, we are going to have the next 60 minutes, free-flowing conversation around e-commerce, retail, and what you guys are doing. So my first question to all of you is around purpose. What is the purpose and what is the vision of your brand? Let me begin with Chandra.
Okay, sure. So thanks again for having me. So I'm head of marketing for a company called Mented Cosmetics. And really what we believe is that no one should be an afterthought in the world of beauty. We were founded by two amazing women, KJ Miller and Amanda E. Johnson. And really we'll be 4 in January. And really what it stemmed from was nude lipsticks. Hopefully everybody knows this, but pink is not a nude for everyone. And I just like to repeat that pink is not a nude for everyone. It is not a blanket situation. So that's how we were founded. We were founded with 9 nude lipsticks for women of color. And so we've expanded our range since then. So we cover pretty much all of the categories, but we always kind of keep in mind pigment. So we always say pigment is our passion, focusing on those who are not necessarily seen. And even though we were founded by Black women, we focus on women of color, which does not just mean Black people or Black women. I think that's also important. So when you go to our social feed, when you go to our site, you're going to see all of these beautiful shades of women and hopefully then you're going to see someone who looks like you, so you know that the product can work for your particular skin tone. And then I
Wonderful.
guess it's my job to make sure that everyone is seen and heard and spoken to individually.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a great purpose. And so you're empowering, it's a great purpose around empowerment. And I think that speaks volume about why you started your business. Excellent. Great, great. Let me go to Ronak. Ronak, how about you? What's the purpose of OBVI? Yeah, if you can share some thoughts on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the purpose of Obvi, the main, the main reason we went into the space that we're in, we've had a track record of being in the health and wellness space for some time, and health and wellness, especially when you look at protein or vitamins or fat burners or whatever you may look at, or pre-workouts, it seems to get a little bit confusing, right? And it's very tough, especially, whether you're a female or a male, to understand why one company is different from another, why you need one product over another. And so we wanted to create Obvi, which, our slogan is the obvious choice. And we wanted to create products that are so simple in understanding why you need it, why you'd use Obvi as the choice, and, what are the benefits you can see. The crux of our product line is collagen. And collagen is something we feel very passionate about, because a lot of people, when they hear protein, they think whey protein or protein that helps with their muscles. But the truth about protein is the collagen is the most abundant protein in every single person's life, in every single person's body. It's actually the Elmer's glue that holds our hair, skin, nails, and joints together. So you think about all of these issues we think about, my skin is sagging, my nails are brittle, I'm losing hair, or my joints are hurting in your later years, usually, right? For some people, it's earlier. A lot of that is actually caused because of the natural production of collagen in your body stops when you're 25 years old. So we wanted to bring light to collagen and the purpose of why it needs to be in everyone's diet from an early age.
Wow, that's a very important thing that you mentioned there, and wow, that's a very, very strong purpose. And I believe with that strong purpose, it's the best thing, because you're not just in the business of product, but you are solving a very important problem. So that's great,
Yeah,
amazing. Let me
appreciate
go
it.
to Cassie. Yeah, Cassie, if you can share your brand's purpose. I'm really happy to see that in your background. We can see a lot of your inventory, and cool, which is amazing.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name's Cassie. I am the founder and CEO of Mayvet. And so, like many startups in the world, my company was born out of frustration. I was frustrated when looking at the market of shoes that I felt like I couldn't find a pair of shoes that looked cute but was also comfortable. So as a woman, I want to look stylish. I wanted to feel confident and powerful in the clothing and the shoes that I was wearing. But those shoes that I was gravitating towards, where I was like, wow, they look great, they're so beautiful, you put them on your feet, you wear them for 20 minutes, and they were killing my feet, and I couldn't walk around, and you're throwing your shoes off, and you're the person walking barefoot around, because you just can't, they just hurt your feet too much. And so on the flip side, I felt like the other options, well, if they were a comfortable shoe, frankly, only my grandmother would wear them. So I didn't feel like there was this good middle ground anymore, where I could have a shoe that looked great, made me feel good, made me look good, but also was comfortable and something I could wear all day. So I went on a mission to go find the perfect shoe. And so I put together a team of a podiatrist, a shoe designer, insole makers, and together we came up with our patent pending comfort technology. So we integrate this into our shoes, and we make all of our shoes. They're handmade in Italy out of real suedes and leathers that are ethically sourced, and we work with some just amazing factory partners who have been making shoes for generations. So I like to say that we've married old school shoemaking with the new world of technology to come together and make Mayvet. And so that's how
Oh,
we were
wow,
born.
that's superb. I mean, so you saw a problem and then you ventured into solving it. That's excellent. I mean, because having that kind of attitude and approach as an entrepreneur is amazing. And I think you built a technology and you file a patent, which again speaks volumes about how tremendously you are involved and how passionate you are about what you do. Excellent. Now, my next question for all of you is, as an entrepreneur, once you have launched your business, uh, what are some of the things that you have done in order to acquire your early customers? What are the marketing strategies that you have adopted at an early stage? Why I'm asking this question, because this is the most important thing that is needed for a product or any kind of company to kind of succeed, where they have to acquire those early adapters for your brand. What are some of the things that you have done? Maybe Chandra?
Yeah, sure. Well, so first I want to say I am the head of marketing for Fermented, but I'm not a founder. I just want to be clear. KJ and Amanda are 100% the founders of this brand.
Mhm,
And their strategy when we first started actually was heavy on influencers.
mhm,
So when they weren't sure whether or not they even have the white
mhm,
space that they felt they had, they weren't sure if it was
mhm,
something that other people felt. They
mhm.
started out by actually making those lipsticks in Amanda's kitchen in
Wow.
Harlem, New York,
Mhm, mhm,
making a bunch of them and then sending them out to friends and family first, and
mhm,
then thusly sending them out to 100+ influencers to get their take on the product to see if it worked for them.
mhm,
And that's actually how we really got started, was using influencer marketing, relying on the influencers take on our products for them to be the voice or the reviewer, if you will.
mhm,
A lot of YouTube videos that they were talking about our products, and at that time, Fenty didn't even exist really. So
mhm,
we were kind of the first, and there was a lot of people speaking about us, and then we were able to leverage that and then start paid.
mhm.
But social for us was a big foothold in how we got started.
Wonderful. That's excellent. That's a great story. Amazing. How about you, Ronak? How did you acquire those early adapters? I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a good question, because I think obviously it's extremely important, no matter what business you're in. Is, you can have an idea, but you have to apparently also sell it too. But yeah, for us, we've always been really big on just paid media, and that's been our background too. So we were able to kind of hit the ground running, with Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, and until this day, I think that's our biggest, our biggest plus point is we're able to scale spending, to where we feel we're at a comfortable place, and being able to, be profitable.
Mhm,
So Facebook, Instagram is the first biggest thing, and then the second thing is we built a really strong community on Facebook. So if you go on Facebook and type in Obvi community, we're the second largest collagen community in the world.
mhm,
We have 20,000 members now, and we're growing by about 100 to 200 a day. So what we're trying to do is, obviously we're acquiring people on the Facebook ads and the media end, but then we're bringing them into a community where we're
mhm,
able to kind of cultivate them to understand what are we about, what are we doing. There's over 100 to 150 posts per day with different
mhm,
customers in the community. So we try and use both those things as, trying to acquire, but if you're not ready to jump and be acquired, come to our
mhm.
community at least and see, well, what are we about?
Wow, excellent, excellent. So you have a very thoughtful approach that you have taken in order to acquire those early adapters for your brand. Wow, that's very, very interesting. How about you, Casey? What are some of the things that you have done after you have launched your product?
Yeah, so when we launched our product, that was about 2 years ago when we
Hmm.
actually started selling the product, and we did a lot of in-person events. So
Okay.
we partnered with a lot of women's conferences where we knew the business type women who would appreciate our product, who are on their feet, running around all day, and needing that type of shoe where
Hmm.
it looks really good, looks professional, but they're comfortable throughout the day and can transition through their different events.
Hmm.
So that businesswoman was is really who we target and who we were meeting at these events. And so that was really how we got started. It was great also to do that because when you have in-person events with people and you're seeing them face to face, you're getting immediate feedback from them. So you can hear what they're saying when they're trying on their shoe, when they're trying the product. What are they doing with it? How are they touching it? How's it fitting their foot? What does that look like? So that was really important in the beginning, just to get going and having that in person. Obviously, with the onset of COVID, all in-person events have just completely gone away. Now things are starting to come back a little bit, but we're having the waves and here and there. So we pretty much on our side have stopped all in-person events. And that was a really big switch for us because it was a great way for us to be meeting our customers. So we took the time basically over the spring and summer to really revamp our website, to make our online presence much stronger. And so now the way we're meeting people is through influencers. As Chandra mentioned, we are doing a lot of influencer marketing, getting on more VIPs and influencers to test out our product and let women know how they feel about it. And then we're pairing that with online ads and doing Facebook and Instagram marketing.
Great, amazing. So events and the marketing efforts, excellent, great. The last 8 months have been challenging for every business out there, and uh, maybe due to the online world, we are still connected with with the consumers through the online channel. But how do you plan on retaining your customers? What are some of the retention strategies that you guys adapt in order to kind of make sure that you're able to have like maximum retention so that you don't lose out on your customers? What are some of the things that you do on a regular basis in order to make that engagement very, very strong? Let me go to Ronak.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for us, retention is actually key. One of the things we wanted to do was really build a collector's mindset with our products.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we come out with a new flavor of our collagen every single month.
Mm-hmm.
This way, obviously we have our classic set, but then every month we come out with something new. And what this does is it gives people, and you can see it in our community a lot too, is, oh, I'm not finished with my last product, but I want the new one, right? I got to have them all kind of concept. And I think what that does is for people, they know they have this, they have June 1st to June 30th to get this flavor. And whether they have to wait for a pay cycle or whatever they have to do to make it work, they get it. And that helps with our retention, not because we're getting retention through a product that is getting finished, but it's retention through innovation that we're pushing out, and our customers wanting to have it all. And I think that's a big thing that we've just built through our kind of community of, you got to try the new stuff. You got to try the new stuff. And so even for our 2021 plan on how to kind of combat COVID, even if it sticks around, is we have our next 12 flavors figured out until 2022. And one launch per month. So it's going to be a cool concept because no one really has kind of tried to do that with protein, right? No one really tries to collect protein. But with I think our flavor systems, I think people enjoy collecting it because it just gives them something new to look forward to right now.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great thing that you mentioned, like product innovation and how it can have a unique impact on maintaining that. Like the retention will definitely happen because I think customers are very curious. They always want to know what's more in it for them. Wow, that's amazing. That's a great insight, I must say. Chandra, how about you? What are some of the things that you have did or doing or plan to do to maintain a high retention rate?
Yeah, so I would say for the planning part, it's well, this is always a consistent thing, is answering the question, how can we dig deeper into loyalty, right? So what are all of the different ways that we can make her or him or they feel comfortable and confident in their choices? And so that can be personalization, so layering, how you're going to layer your makeup.
Yeah.
If you fall within our deep category, what other products match that so that you can feel good, like this is the next step for you. If we have the beginner, this is your starter kit. So if you bought the foundation, these are the things that you should buy next. If you're not really sure, why don't you start with our nude lipsticks? Giving them different quizzes, right? So like if you're in the nude lipstick game and you've tried our semi mattes, why don't you try our glosses? Or how can you kind of build on that? And then I would say a lot of it has to do with customer service. And I
Oh,
know that, I mean, it's very wide. It's a whole department within itself.
yeah.
But we have our customer service, not just, via email, but we also take that to the next level and have customer service via social.
Mm-hmm.
So, if someone wants or has an issue with finding out their right shade, we're going to send them a link, for the quiz. We're going to tell them about the sample pack that they can have that's $5, and it gives you $5 off on your full purchase. We're going to ask you for your photo. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
don't you send us your photo and we'll shade match for you. And yes, a lot of that can be acquisition related, and it does help with acquisition, but it continually reinforces that we are here for you. It's not just like a one-stop shop. What do you need? How can we help you? What do you need next? And then I guess last but not least would be partnerships. I love doing partnerships with like-minded brands.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us a chance. Again, that can be an acquisition play, but really it helps the loyal customer think, oh, you never know what you're going to get from us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come up with something new, and you're going to have that first access if you're a VIP. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
just launched our Every Night eyeshadow palette, and we partnered with Tatcha, and
Mm-hmm.
Tatcha has 1.1 million followers on social.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so everybody who was a VIP got it. Well, we gave away a limited number, but we partnered with them, and they gave us eye primer, and
Mm-hmm.
Tatcha's expensive. So like, being able to say that they got their primer, everybody was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can't believe I missed out on it.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do next?
Uh-huh.
It's a
Wow.
long version, but you get the point. Good stuff.
Amazing, amazing. So very thoughtful approach. So partnerships and personalization, and through social, how you're keeping the engagement going. That's excellent. Great advice. Amazing. Cassie, how about you? What are the things that you do for higher retention?
Yeah, so I think we probably do a lot of the same things that other companies do, which is we have our email list, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So we are usually communicating regularly with them on a weekly basis, with our community on what's new, what's going on. But for retention, really for us, it's the next season, it's the next style. So it's okay, you came and you bought a pair of boots from us this winter, like how can we have you come back and check out our sandals that are going to be here for spring summer? So for us, the incentive for retention is that we're releasing new styles, new products, new things. We also love to do things like Chandra was saying with giveaways and partnerships. So we've been experimenting a lot actually recently with sweepstakes and partnering with other brands to offer sweepstakes and that sort of thing to get people interested in. As Chandra mentioned, that's also an acquisition play as well, but it also helps with retention because people are curious, like what's going to happen next with them? What else are
Yeah.
they doing? Oh, that's really cool that they partner with those brands. I want to be remember that it's there next time. So that's it. And the other thing that we just recently launched this holiday season is conversational commerce. So we're doing now we're doing text message marketing, which is something that we hadn't ever done before. I know it's too early, I think, for us to say whether like this is the new wave, it was working, not working, but it's very interesting. It's really customers love to chat with us there. We're getting a lot of people who directly chat back with us and opening that conversation. And just in general, with the way things are right now, it's the best time to be online because so many people are online right now. So many people who maybe before would never have shopped online are shopping online. So we're having this ability to meet people that we've never met before and then continue the conversation because again, people are much more open now than they've ever been to continuing online conversations, to continuing things virtually. So we've really been trying to take advantage of that and expand, not only retain the customers you have, but also expand who we're talking to as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a very thoughtful approach. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add one thing, because when I think of email, I think of like it's just like a staple, but clearly it's the main retention. But what I will say for whoever's listening or listens later, your automated flows are really, really important. It's not just to and talking in email speak, right? So like we split our email into two things: like automation, your flows, and then your campaigns. So you've got your campaigns that are going to be consistent things that are new. Then you're going to have your automation flow. So your welcome flow, digging deeper into that, replenishment flow, digging deeper into that, and it's really that revenue generator that you're getting without technically having to think about it because you're
Mm-hmm.
personalizing it based off of her journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of going. And you can do the same with text.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a pretty robust text program,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been very successful for us. Text is one of our top revenue generating channels. So um, it's important to
Wonderful.
know that there's a deeper dive that you can do
Okay.
with email, and you can use it for loyalty in all sorts of different ways.
Wow, that's a great thing. Absolutely. And as you said it rightly, having engagement throughout the consumer journey, because I think once you have acquired a customer, I think in order to maintain that engagement going and to have that higher retention, the consumer should keep on coming back on the store. And that I want to have a follow-up question on that, which is about lifetime value of a customer. How do you maximize the lifetime value per customer, because ultimately that's what is going to increase your bottom line, and that's what is going to help you in kind of reducing the customer acquisition cost. So how do you do that? What are some of the unique things as you plan to do to maximize the lifetime value per customer? Ronak, if you want to share some thoughts there.
Yeah, sure. So I think yeah, lifetime value, like you said, is huge because it gives you the ability to stomach, a bigger cost per acquisition cost and being able to at least, acquire customers at a higher rate. For us, lifetime value, I think, ties right back into a couple of the things. One is innovation. Your innovation
Mhm,
pipeline, I think, has to be so spread out to the point where you have stuff coming out for at least the next few quarters where you can position all those launches
mhm,
to your customers. I think a lot of brands sometimes they're coming out with products that
mhm,
can't really be positioned to an existing customer, right? They'll just come out with something maybe a little bit random or something that's a new category that may not attach. I think for us, at our very baseline of innovation, anything we kind of come out with has to tie back into something our customer already has. So a different variation of it, a different version of it, or something our customer wants,
mhm,
which is what we use the community and our feedback channels through social media and text, email, and stuff to understand what they want. One of the biggest things I think to maximize customer lifetime value is surveys. We send out surveys very often to understand what our consumer wants. We're very consumer centric, so they actually even help pick the next flavors. They pick our next products. So we just it takes out the guessing game.
uh-huh,
And so when you kind of provide what they're asking for,
mhm,
there's less risk of you not extending the customer lifetime value
mhm.
versus knowing that, hey, I'm going to launch this and probably going to do well with the customers.
Mhm. Wow. So asking the consumers, wow, that's a great insight. I mean, and that's the surveys can really open up, and I think that's a great enabler to help the consumers know what the product owner is also thinking, and at the same time, the consumers are participating in that discussion. Wow, excellent. That's an amazing thought. How about you, Chandra? What are you planning to do to maximize lifetime value per customer?
Yeah, I would say it's a lot of some of the things that Ronak has mentioned, as well as things that I've mentioned already. So, because we're makeup,
Mm-hmm.
we do have quarterly launches, but it's not just about showcasing, the Everynight eyeshadow palette by itself. It's layering on top. What do you do
Mm-hmm.
before you
Mm-hmm.
put on the eyeshadow? What should you do after? What are all of the components to a full face? Leaning into tutorials and all of
Mm-hmm.
the places you can see tutorials,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that when she's ready, or if she's thinking about the next thing, she has a full scope, a full kit that she might want to buy, and then figuring out how to get our AOV higher. So
Wonderful.
not just focusing on foundation, but how can we get her to buy foundation as well as powder, as well as the brush, because you need them all.
Mm-hmm.
um, and and we found that the more we can get her to buy, the bigger her cart ends up being, which you would think is
Wonderful.
the opposite. So just
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep getting her to get that next thing, even if it's just a quick one. She'll put more in her cart.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. My next question is for Cassie. Cassie, you have built this unique technology for the pain point that you saw in the vertical that you have entered in. Uh, how do you convey your value proposition? Like, uh, because I think you have a technology, but The consumers are consuming so much of information through ads and social media. How do you differentiate your technology, your shoe, vis-a-vis the competition? What things do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think differentiation, it's interesting what your question, because the reality is, right, you've got that like 3 seconds to sell that person on spending more
Yeah,
time with you than that three
true.
seconds.
Yes.
And so what we've found through our time so far is that the reality is that women care first about how it looks. So if you don't meet that's like table stakes. Like if it doesn't look good,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. She's not gonna keep going any further.
Mm-hmm.
So we really pride ourselves first and foremost on having amazing design. So we have to have our designs have to stand out. They have to
Mm-hmm.
catch your eye, and we have to photograph them and artistically put them in a way that's going to capture your attention within that quick first moment. From there, then we try to guide you through the journey. And so the reality is that what we have found is that the comfort piece of our business and that sort of thing is the extra thing that closes the deal. Like, whoa, the shoes look great and they actually have this other stuff in it. That's going to closes the deal, because
Mm-hmm.
it's that extra differentiation point. But the thing that captures the attention first is the designs, and then we have to spend the time after that doing the education. And in terms of doing the education, we do that in many different ways, whether it's on our website with a page that explains about us, also about our journey and our company, what we stand for, those sort of things. But to get her to that point, or him, to be
Mm-hmm.
fair, we have some hims who come and shop with us as well.
Yeah.
It really just takes getting that first attention point. And for us, we found that really comes down to clever marketing, clever artistic imagery that really captures the attention.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So you are able to convey that value proposition through your visuals and through the unique messaging that you adopt.
Yes. I mean, we're always experimenting with it too. We're trying it, we're A/B testing different things. We're trying different ways of doing that. The jury's always out on what exactly working. You have to test it and see.
Yeah.
I could think something's great and then I put it out to the market, and you'll find out. You find out. The reality is you have to test it and see how people react. You can't be in a bubble. You have to have a feeling, an inkling, and right. And you have to say, okay, I want to try this. And then the beautiful thing about the internet is you send some traffic that way and you'll see whether it's working or not. So
Yeah, that's
that's
right.
one of the best parts of e-commerce business.
Experimentation. Excellent. Great, great.
Experimentation.
Yeah. My next
Can I
question.
actually ask a question to Sean? I had a question that came from what you guys were all talking about.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
This was specifically for Chandra. And actually, Ronak, you kind of triggered this for me. So you said that you get a lot of your flavors and that sort of thing by sourcing it from your customers. But for me, as a fashion company, I would imagine as Chandra too, there is this kind of line we flirt between, like, how much do I tell you what's going to be great this season and what you should like, versus actually you telling me what you already like. And so we are always kind of playing with this line. And I'd love to hear on both sides of from both of you, how are you getting your customers and reading when am I going to tell you a bit and give you guidance versus ask you what you want?
We do quarterly surveys, actually. So, and we used to do a lot of events as well, because makeup's hard, right? So you want to get them to try it first. So post events as well, we would always do a survey to see, like, what did you like? What did you not like? What would you like to see next? And then we have a quarterly survey. We just kind of seeing what your vibe is, seeing what our customers' vibes are, and if anything's changed. But then we throw in a bunch of questions about the types of products they're using or would like to see from us. And then actually, as part of our social cadence, I would say maybe about once a month or so in our stories, we throw in some questions that we know the answers to already, but kind of again getting a beat. And then I use stories for everything. We were working on potentially doing a master class of some sort, and I wasn't sure if it was I knew it would be a heavy lift on our end. So I just threw it out to social to see what people would felt like they would do and if they would pay for it. And then that helped to guide me on whether or not I would do it.
Wonderful. Yeah, Ronak, you want to add something to
Yeah,
that?
sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a good question, Cassandra. It's an excellent question, actually. I think For us, the biggest thing is that we try to give people certain options, right? So whether it's like, hey, pick out of these 3 flavors that you'd want next, right? Which is a good cultivation of a little bit of guidance, but then a little bit of option.
Mm.
And I think when you find that, it's kind of like you said, that fine line of, we're still going to kind of cater to what you choose at the end of the day, but we're giving you what to choose. And I think the biggest piece is, when you are able to layer the identity of limited edition, or this is only available now, I think that piece trumps a lot of like, oh, what is it and do I want it? It's, I can only get it if I choose, if I act now, right? And I think that piece kind of trumps even, like, I'll give you an example. Like we launched peppermint mocha 10 days ago. There were countless customers like, I don't really know if I like peppermint mocha, or if I want peppermint mocha, or if I've
Yeah.
even would ever order this, but it's only available for the next 12 more days. A lot of them bought peppermint mocha. They ended up loving it and whatnot. So I think part of it is like, you almost have to kind of hold back on giving out, too many options. But I think giving out some sort of, I think, direction and sense, and then letting them kind of pick that route, right? Like if you bring them to the path and say, hey, do you want to walk, run, or jog, or whatever? It's your option of how you want to get there. But, here's kind of the path we're leading you. And now I think, because, I mean, we're 17 months old now. So we've kind of been doing this for what, about 8 months of different flavors and launches. I think now the pattern has built of people now expecting something. And that expectation, again, I think trumps what it could be or what it isn't. It's more of, hey, I can't wait to see it. Does that make sense?
Wonderful.
But Cassandra, actually, I know your MOQs are probably like beyond when it comes to manufacturing. But I would say, I mean, with Zoom and everything, I think it would be really great. I don't know how robust your VIP program is, but I think it'd be really great to, virtually bring them into the fold and do some focus groups and find out what their needs are, what their hopes are. And now for COVID, COVID time needs, and what their post-COVID time needs. And then you might even have the opportunity to find out more about them, like how many of them are mothers versus not mothers, like what's really kind of fueling it. And it would just be easier to really, you can really kind of get down to the nitty gritty with your questions.
Chandra, have you done that before? And if so, some feedback I've gotten before, just things I know from research, is that if they know me and I'm the CEO and I'm the founder, they might be a little afraid when we have a conversation to give me the true feedback that they feel, right? There might be some bad nuggets in there. So have you, in your experience, and for either of you, run any of these focus groups? And if you have you purposely found like an outsider to be the person to run them, or have you just done them yourselves and, take it for what it is? And if they are afraid to hurt your feelings, well, oh well.
Well, for us, our CEO is the head of product development. So she's in the room, period. She's not going to not be in the room.
Okay. And do people know that that's her role when they're in the room? Okay. And so you take it for what it is.
Yeah. And if you Google, KJ, and she speaks, across the board. And, she was just on Oprah Magazine's Live, like, her. She couldn't go in the background even if she tried. You didn't know her face. But she does try to make them feel really comfortable. And she reminds them it's not about her, it's about them. And our whole purpose is to make them feel beautiful and confident in the world of beauty. And it can't be about her and her skin tone. It has to be what makes them feel comfortable. And that just fuels the fire. And, glass of wine doesn't help. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. That's right.
Wonderful. That's a great insight that you guys shared there about learning what from the consumers itself. I mean, while you're thinking of launching a new product, go to your consumers, ask them the right question. And I think the surveys that you mentioned, both Chandra and Ronak, I think those are great ways to learn what the consumers are looking for. And even in surveys, I think typically it has to be a direction, as Ronak has mentioned, like, okay, what do you want to offer to your consumer? If you keep it too open-ended, it becomes chaos. So you need to give them a exclusive direction. And as Ronak also pointed out, one more point, which is amazing, which is creating that sense of urgency, creating that sense of exclusivity around your product that get people kind of willing to try out that thing, because people may never try it. But I think if you are able to create that urgency or that exclusivity around the product that is getting launched, that creates a buzz, and that's when you are easily able to kind of push that product to the consumer. So those are some of the things that I picked up. My next question for all of you is around user generated content, uh, because that is one of the most interesting thing that has happened in the last 5 to 6 years, where users are becoming the brand ambassadors. I mean, and they are the proof, they are the validation, they're the biggest validation, and the new customers kind of look up to whomsoever has used that product. So have you guys done some user generated content strategy, or are you planning to do that? What are your thoughts on it? Chandra or Ronak, if you would like to take it.
Ladies
Uh,
first.
UGC is very, very big for us. And I categorize UGC and influencer marketing as two different things, actually. So, for me, UGC is user generated content from our customers. And our social feed might, or hopefully it looks like it's mostly models or influencers, if you will, but really it's mostly UGC, people creating a brand where people love to share, and I think is really important. We've even incorporated something called Who or What Wednesdays, which allows us the opportunity to showcase even more UGC that we might not be able to put on our feed. And then also from a DM's perspective, making sure that every single person, there's not one person that will tag us in a story that we don't respond back to, right? That's an absolute must for my team. And I will even, sometimes it's me going in there late at night or in the morning, be like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Because again, we want to make sure that you know that you're being seen, you're being heard, and that you are beautiful. Don't use UGC for anything else outside of social reposting, but then I have a robust influencer strategy that's like 3-tiered. But I think that's a whole nother conversation.
Wonderful. How about
But
you,
people
Ronak?
love to see themselves on your feed. I reposted their post on our feed. They repost it on their stories, so they've reposted a repost on their stories and tagged us. So it's a great engagement play. It kind of goes back and forth with the and then it keeps the conversation going with that customer.
Excellent. Wow. Cool. Awesome. How about you, Ronak? What are the things? What is the user generated content like for you?
Yeah, no, I think Chandra hit a lot of good points. I think for us, social media is big. Reposting, driving people to do that, right? Driving people to say, hey, make sure you repost our product. But I think this is where our community is the biggest impact for us, where we're literally after post purchase driving people even while they're waiting for their order, just getting into the community and getting excited about it. So there's a few stages to it. So once you are coming into our funnel, we're going to tell you about the product, constantly show you people taking it. We have tons and tons of UGC we've curated from our admins, our customers, that we're constantly curating, right? Because when we ask for a review, we also ask for a photo or a video. So we're taking all this UGC that we're getting, and then we're showing it to potential customers. And then the potential customers are basically looking at that and saying, oh, wow, people are taking this. They're coming into purchasing the product. And then they go down the funnel of, all right, well, I've purchased the product now. What else does Obvi has to offer? So we bring them into the community, and now everyone's sharing after receiving their product, unboxing the product, taking the product, recipes. You can eat, drink, or bake with our product. Every single order comes with a recipe book, so people are sharing that and exchanging ideas. And so it turns into this big experience where almost everything, besides you purchasing on our website, everything is user generated. Right? It's the thought process, the feeling, the emotion, the usage of the product. Everything involves the customer generating some sort of content around their experience. And for us, even the ads that do well, it's the ones that are true customers giving their feedback from our community where we get tons and tons of content and daily. So yeah, I think social media community aspect is so important to constantly be on top of.
Wow, super. How about you, Cassandra? Have you done anything like that in the past or planning to do?
Yeah, I think Chandra and Ronak are probably a little further along in their UGC journey than we are as a company. So I'll speak to it more as the getting started with it, because that's really where we're at. Like, we're still trying to get as many and evangelize people within our community to feel comfortable and send us things. So the easiest way to get started, I would say, is through reviews. So we have an automatic review system that once we send out a shoe, within a certain number of days, it sends it out. Our company uses Yotpo, and it asks them for a photo and asks them to let us know how they feel about it. And so like I said, that has been our biggest route so far. And then also, of course, through social media, when we post things, people commenting back, that sort of thing. But yeah, I would say on our side, at least, we're probably still much lower in the beginning of our UGC content, but something we're trying to actively grow. So I love the advice from Chandra and Ronak. They have lots of good ideas that I'll probably steal and we take back with me for my own use.
Excellent, great. And I think those insights can really, really be implemented, I think, no matter what the vertical is. And my next question is, as things are evolving, as e-commerce is evolving, the only way, and digital marketing is evolving. And when I say digital marketing, it's either you do a paid marketing campaign or you do your SEO, organic growth versus inorganic growth. And in the paid world, the costs for the ads are rising day by day. And how do you plan on kind of tackling that, where you are able to acquire new customers, but with how much you limited budget for, let's say, a paid campaign, or organic versus inorganic? What will you choose? How will you balance it out? Have you thought about it? Because I think uh, everyone is targeting for the same keyword, everyone is targeting those same target audience, and it's those digital marketing campaign ads cost is rising to the top. So how do you plan to tackle it through organic growth? Maybe let me go to Ronak.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, no, it's something that's inevitable, right? There's so many different companies, even coming up day by day,
Yeah.
trying to get into the space, and so ad costs are going to go up because there's limited inventory, right? There's a small supply for a lot of demand. So
Yeah.
one of the things I think we're doing constantly is A/B testing, what's working, what's not, whether it's content, audiences, where to even send them on our website, homepage versus product page versus a landing page, versus just showing them, different types of content, UGC versus actual product photography. So there's multiple layers. It almost becomes a massive matrix. I think the one thing that's been really successful though for us is utilizing influencers, but a little bit differently than I think what's traditional. Traditionally, I think influencers have been used as, we're going to send you product, you're going to post it on your Instagram or Facebook, or you're going to make a story about it. We actually skip all those parts and just say, we utilize influencers where it's, we take their content that they create with our product, but instead of them posting it everywhere, we actually get access to their backend and run ads. And what that helps with is, it actually is, you can skip the whole layer of, hey, will this influencer even bring in enough traction or not? We start spending money on the ad, and what it helps is we get to see a much bigger audience to target, right? Now you're able to utilize this influencer and the content they've created to showcase to millions of people versus whatever their reach may be for that one post they may do for you. It's a little bit different. So different strategy there. And then I think, using UGC testimonials has been huge. And then using the community for constant creative, just flushing it in and out, has been huge for us. So I think the biggest thing that you see on Facebook, especially if you're spending a decent amount of money on advertising on Facebook, one of the biggest pieces of feedback you'll get is you need to constantly update with new creative, right? Because
Yeah.
Facebook is showing your ads to a lot of people at once. And once someone sees it and they haven't acted on it, you need to basically show them something new. So different types of remarketing strategies, different types of content. Sometimes we're changing our content every 2 days, every 3 days. So I think you have to have a very robust strategy. If you're, really, if that's really your top of the funnel revenue generation strategy. So, with Facebook, it's constantly a battle, but I think you can get around it if content is king for you.
Excellent. Wonderful thought process. Wonderful. How about you, Chandra? Organic versus inorganic. How do you manage it?
Well, I think they're always going to be hand in hand. One's never going to be the only. But for me, it's always about diversification.
Okay.
Period. I don't want Facebook. I don't want Facebook to be the only thing I have to lean on. Sometimes it does win out in that world, in the battle. But that's why text message came about, right? I was looking for more channels, more owned channels that could take away from whatever I was leaning on for paid. So, and then because of COVID, it also allows for more testing of various channels, right? Testing podcasts, testing TV if you can, testing Snapchat or Pinterest if you haven't thought of it yet. Being able to go in, put a little money towards it, see what happens, see if it can scale, and moving forward from there. Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, it shouldn't be one channel. It shouldn't be 3 channels. It should be just like as many as possible. That's even why, from an organic perspective, we started tracking organic social channels separately as well as together. I have goals for organic social that are separate from paid social. I did a deep dive into YouTube and noticed that it was a revenue generator. And so then we put effort towards how can we optimize organic YouTube and see what kind of results we could yield. And we found that was positive for us, and we wouldn't have done it if we weren't always focusing on what kind of diversification can we as a brand have. And then from an influencer perspective, I agree with Renika. The way I even prove out having a budget for influencers, and most of what we do for influencers is unpaid, but for the small group of people that we do that is paid, that strategy is half content that they are supposed to post, and then the other half plus the half that they've posted is mine to use as I see fit. And so I'm able to lean into one video in paid, use it for paid, which will yield me way more revenue than it would if it was just being posted on their feed and on our feed. And then it allows me to do mashups of videos and tutorials, so you can showcase all of the various ethnicities and shades that are trying our product, and use it for all time, in perpetuity.
Excellent. So very thoughtful approach. And because why I ask this question is because this is the most important debate that is going on in terms of customer acquisition, because I think the customer acquisition cost has to go down over a period of time in order to make the business sustainable and profitable. But with the rising ad costs, that becomes a very, very complex situation to deal with. My next question for Casey is, Casey, you are at an early stage of your venture and you have a solid product. And what are some of the new things that you would like to try in the new, like, let's say in the next year, in order to acquire those new set of customers? Definitely, either through paid marketing or through influencer marketing, or what are some of the things that you have planned for in order to take your venture to the next level?
Yeah, so we've this year been doing a lot of testing within marketing. So I kind of mentioned some of them earlier, but some of the things we have seen work that we plan on doubling down on in 2021 will be sweepstakes. So that's been a great way for us to, when we partner with the right brands with our sweepstakes, it's been a great way for us to acquire new leads for marketing and bring new customers into the fold. So we'll probably double down on that. Influencer marketing, we've only at this point done gifting. So we don't pay for any influencers at this point. In 2021, something we would like to try doing is starting to pay a little bit. I'm with Chandra. I don't like to pay influencers too much in general anyway. So we spend a lot of our time more. And it's not free. I like everyone to know, like, when you're working with, when it says you're working with influencer, you're doing it free, it's not free. I'm still giving them product that costs us money. So there's no such thing as free. It just means I'm not spending extra dollars with them. And so I think that's an important distinction for people to know. There's no free lunch around here. And so anyway, with the influencers, that's something I want to explore more. We are on Like It to Know It, which is an affiliate network that works a lot with influencers. So we'll probably dig into doing some stuff with them, trying that out, testing that. And then we'll continue to push on the paid side in terms of Instagram, Facebook ads. That's where we see ourselves going. And then, of course, in 2021, we would love to restart events again. And hopefully with things will open up again, the vaccine will be highly distributed. And hopefully by this summer, we'll see people back living their lives closer to how they were before. So we'd love to go back and start meeting women in person again. And that's something we're really looking forward to in 2021.
Wonderful. That's a good plan, and that's a great strategy in order to kind of get there and get the word out. Amazing. As we are coming to an end of this panel discussion, uh, I want to ask this last question, which is, what is that one piece of advice that you would like to give from your entire experience and the things that you have done that you would like to someone who is running a business in e-commerce or retail, or who is trying to venture into e-commerce or retail? What is that one piece of advice that you would like to give them that they can implement in their venture? Maybe, let me go to Chandra.
I mean, that's such a big question.
Yeah. Tough question, $1 million question. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I would say it would be a lot of things, but from a marketing perspective, I would say close the loop. It is very important when you come up with a plan, one, to know what your KPIs are, and then two, to do a check and balance across every channel. You know, not every channel has to be a part of whatever plan you're doing, like that's okay, but you need to explain why. You need to be able to justify why, and then push yourself. There's a lot of things that can be implemented across the board so that the customer really kind of sees it full circle and understands it, and it's not convoluted. You know, I'll say that even with partnerships and sweepstakes, I rarely do a sweepstakes where I don't capture email addresses. And now it's capture email addresses and text messages because I want to close the loop. I want to be able to go back to them, right? And even when I first get those email addresses, I'm going to send them a message reminding them how they found out about us, and then I'm going to put them into our flow. So I'm going to be able to use it for later. And then
Wonderful.
I think that's all I can say right now, I guess.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's a great, very, very important thing that you mentioned there, because that often gets overlooked. So that's a great advice. Thank you. Ronak, how about you? What advice would you like to give?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice that we could share is become one with your customer. Whether you have 100 customers or 100,000 customers, try to interact with them on as many levels as you can. Email, text, building communities, social media, literally even offering the option to call you guys, giving your personal email. I think there's so many different pieces to let the customer feel like there's actually somebody there that's going to listen. There's so many times where we've seen even just a customer's tone change because of the way that we responded. And us as founders, me and my other two founders too, Usher and Ankit, we're actually constantly on in our community. If you go in our community, you'll actually hear from us just as much as you'll hear from the customers. And we're on social media as well. We're constantly at some point trying to talk to a customer. And I think that goes a long way, at least for so far, it has gone a long way, because I think people trust what's going on in the background. And, I think we're our biggest influencers, our own brand influencers. So I think become, one in all for your brand, and become a customer yourself. And I think that's how you know that you want to be treated.
Excellent. Wow, that's a very, very uh, amazing advice that you shared there. I mean, listening to your consumers and giving them an opportunity to interact with the leaders who have built the product. Wow, that's something which really can be a game changer, because you never know what important feedback or idea can come from a consumer. Wow, that's excellent. Uh, about you, what advice would you like to give to someone who wants to venture into e-commerce from your own learnings?
I love what Ronak said about the customer. I completely agree. But in the interest of giving another nugget, I'll take it more from the entrepreneurship side and say, just get started. I think a lot of people sit there and they have amazing ideas that they're not sharing with the world, and they're not afraid to take that first step. And I know I was for a long time afraid to start my business, to build my dream. And so I think the thing is just take the first, whatever that is. What's the first step? The first step, put a website, talk to someone about it, see what other people have to say. I thought people would say I was crazy, that my idea was silly, and I got nothing but support. And I've never had anyone I've told about my idea tell me that my idea was dumb. Everybody was like, that's great. Like, women really need this. There's such a community out there now of people who want to support your idea. So I think you should just take that first step and take that first leap. If you've got something that's burning inside you, that idea,
Yeah,
send it out to the world, see what happens.
Like
wow,
that.
wow, that's excellent. I must say this has been a very, very unique panel conversation that I had today with all of you, and you guys have been amazing. You did not shy away from sharing your learnings, your experiences, and the attention to detail that you have given to each of the things that you're doing, not just on the product side but on the marketing side of things. uh, and the key takeaway, if I have to take from this discussion, is what Chandra has touched upon, is closing that loop, knowing where to keep tab on your KPIs, what are the things that, where are the areas of opportunities, and constantly making sure that you are able to kind of excel on those pointers and find out a way to make sure that you are helping your consumers. And what Ronak has mentioned is about listening to your consumers and giving them an opportunity to connect with you, and how it can really help, because I think product owners, they themselves are the biggest ambassadors, and the amount of passion that a product owner can bring into the conversation uh, can really help the consumer in understanding what the brand stands for. And I must say, what Cassie has mentioned in the end, just get started. No matter how many doubts you have, but once you start, I think the entire universe help you in moving in the right direction. And that's the best way. I think entrepreneurship is something that is so empowering, not just for the entrepreneur, but I think the community. And it's kind of building a lot of stakeholders internally and externally, and it's a game changer for the community and for the society. And with this, I would once again would like to say thank you to all of you. Thank you, Chandra, for joining today on the panel. Thank you so much, Ranak, for joining on the panel. Cassie, thank you so much for joining today and for sharing these insights. We'd love to host you again in the future, maybe on a different topic altogether. And I'll be in touch. I'll connect with you guys soon with a lot of other interesting conversations. Thank you so much. You have a great
Thank you.
weekend ahead. And
Thank you for having us.
Merry
Yeah, and
Christmas.
Thank you so much.
I think you guys all saw that I dropped my email in
Yes.
there. I'd love to stay connected with everyone. I'm gonna hopefully copy all this before you before you close the chat. Let us copy each other's.
I'll connect you guys over an email, so don't worry.
That'd be great.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Be awesome. Pleasure to
Thank
meet you guys.
again. And happy
Take-
holidays.
Happy
Yeah,
holidays.
happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.